Now let's answer the question, what is intensification? So when we think about the definition of intensity or intensification, we think about the quality of being intense. Applying that to fitness and the characteristics we might see there, think fast, powerful, and heavy.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really important to understand that you can't have an intensification phase without an accumulation phase or a base that's already built. So you'll never design a training program for someone where you're just like, okay, starting off day one, we're gonna go intensification, intensification. Intensification is built from accumulation. So think about what we talked about in the last video when we talked about what we're building on in those accumulation phases. So let's say that you have a client and you're building on skills. When you go to an intensification phase, you're still going to continue to build on those skills and you're just going to use those skills in a more intense manner. So essentially just look at an intensification phase as a continuation of that accumulation phase. You're just being more intense with whatever the characteristics that you gathered in that previous stage were.
When we think about resistance training inside of an intensification phase, typically it's characterized by lower volume, so lower repetitions, and then high intensity, so heavier loads. Think examples of like a 1 rep max, a heavy 3, things that are going to get that really tough nervous system demanding dose response in resistance training. But at the same time, remember that intensification is relative to the individual. Just because they're doing intensification doesn't mean they're going to be hitting heavy 1s or heavy 2s.
Yeah, definitely. And those tough, the characteristics of tough and hard and fast and quick, those are carrying over into energy systems training. Start thinking about tension and what's happening in an accumulation phase in resistance. We're going through a lot of tension, a lot of volume, a lot of reps are occurring. In intensification, we're not doing that. So we don't want to do that in energy systems training inside of intensification because it can actually take away from what you're doing in resistance. So in terms of what we would see in energy systems training, it's faster and it's shorter. So it's just more intense. If it's more intense, by definition, we can't expand that out and do it for long periods of time.
So in summary, the work that we do inside of intensification is by virtue of the work that we did in accumulation first. We built that base, and now we have the opportunity to be able to really express intensity in this next training phase.